This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Here we go! Kiss me like I'm out of sound. So I'm numb and call me. Boogie Wonderland. Yo tengo sus noches y su pasión. Stand right now. Solo sube tu
You're listening to the Emerald FlowShow on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Welcome to episode 12 of the Emerald FlowShow. We are a podcast on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. You can follow us on Twitter at Emerald FlowShow and follow us on any of the major podcasting apps. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review and a nice little comments on our show. And you can go to voicesofwrestling.com/donate to donate to the show if you are so inclined. Paul, this is a record for us. We came right back.
It was like literally the shortest turnaround between episodes ever because we recorded like last Thursday and it's Tuesday now. So that's, very quickly.
Well, a lot happened and I couldn't wait because we wouldn't be getting to Champions Night 4 until like probably the middle of next week.
Yeah.
So strike while the iron's hot. And we have more than that to talk about. But shame on Wrestle Universe for not getting that Noah show up.
Yeah. I mean, it's also weird because normally they're super quick with the turnaround for that.
Yeah,
and with the Abima shows, like they're up like an hour or two afterwards on like Wrestle Universe now, and it's been like 2-3 days.
Maybe it was some other like recording team out in Kobe, because most of the recorded stuff is like from Tokyo, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
maybe they just who knows what's happening with
I don't know.
show.
But so we'll talk about Noah because a couple things got announced. But as a special treat, we are covering the first 2 rounds of the King of DDT tournament. Do you think there's any housekeeping to do before, or should we jump right into Champions Night 4?
No, I think we can jump straight into Champions Night 4.
Okay, so on June 19th, All Japan held its Champions Night 4 at Ota City General Gymnasium, drawing 1,398 fans, which was slightly up by about like 80 or so from the March Champions Night 3. And I will call that a success. And I'll get to that in a reason for a second. We'll call it a great success, but I definitely won't call it a favor because there was a huge kickboxing match called The Match at the Tokyo Dome the show was going on at the same time, and it drew like 56,000 people. And also it came out today that it drew 500,000 buys on pay-per-view in Japan. So Paul, I think that number is pretty reasonable given the competition.
Yeah, I think that number is reasonable. It's also right in line with what they drew previously.
Right.
At the same venue as well. So I think that's definitely an okay number. I mean, we also we'll get to it later when we talk about DDT, because it definitely seems like that the kickboxing match did have an influence on other shows within Tokyo. So I think it definitely showed that there's like a loyal, like All Japan audience that wants to go to All Japan shows specifically.
I was expecting this could hit 1,500 or more, to be honest with you, but I will take this given the competition.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe it could have reached that. I mean, it did fairly load up the show as well. But yeah, I mean, given that there were 56,000 people in Tokyo Dome, where they were also allowed to cheer, I think this is an okay number.
Yeah. So the first match of the show, Oji Shiba defeats Ryo Inoue in 4 minutes and 53 seconds with a crab hold. I thought this was a really good opener. It was a little shorter than the sort of young guys match, but like Shiba looks really good. He's got that sort of like pep in his step that like a lot of Dragon Gate trainees have and everything like that. And Inoue was a good opponent for him. So this was good. And I think Shiba passed the test, and I think they should be bringing him back.
Yeah, definitely. I think Shiba could be a kind of a good undercard guy. He is solid. Like I wouldn't really expect anything super special from him. As I said, he kind of has that pep in his step that Dragon Gate guys have, but he is someone that has had massive injury issues in the past. So I think you can bring him back for undercut stuff, but I would be kind of hesitant to give him anything more than that.
Yeah, definitely. I unless he like goes like a year or two without like injuring himself, I would keep him, you know, in the first or second match.
Which, given the way his Dragon Gate run went, like we don't even need to go to a year. We only need to go to like 6 months, or probably even less than that. He was pretty much injured the entire time he was there.
And then the second match was the Gaora TV Championship 4-way ladder match. Toshizo defeats Izanagi, Black Menso-re, and Yusuke Kodama in 7 minutes and 37 seconds with a fisherman's buster on Menso-re. Now, I was under the impression that this was a traditional climb the ladder match. It was not. It was just everyone brings a ladder as a weapon. Now, Japanese promotions will do that sort of match often, but I will say though, All Japan has done a climb the ladder match, because who could forget the epic tables, ladders, and chairs match between Yoshitatsu and Jun Kasai last year?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm not sure why this was even a ladder match. It's like it didn't even play into like the finish. Like there was no ladder involved in that at all. Like they just used a bunch of ladders early on in the match, and then they just kind of stopped using them after a while. I mean, I did love at Izanagi's tiny step ladder that he brought with him.
Oh, that was the best part of the match.
That was the best part of the match, yeah. But then after they were done with that spot, then they were just like, and now we're done with ladders, and now it's just a 4-way.
Yeah, there was a few ladder spots in the beginning, like crashing into them and doing moves on them. But yeah, it wasn't. You could have just done a regular 4-way.
Yeah, it was,
especially for going like 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's one of the things I'm like a little bit worried about the new direction of the company, where I hope this doesn't just become like, you know, like WWE, where it's just like, let's just do a ladder match because. So I hope that doesn't become like a regular thing. But yeah, I probably would have actually liked this more if it would have been just a regular 4-way rather than like doing like token ladder spots basically.
So the interesting thing about this, since this is a Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network podcast, I will happily unmask Toshizo. It's Ryuji Hijikata, who's a part-time wrestler whose day job is a city councilor in Saitama Prefecture. So I don't know how much he's going to be around, but like this is just a like let's establish the voodoo murders type thing, I guess. I mean, I don't see any other reason for that.
I mean, there is some Toshizo stuff later in the show as well, which we're gonna get into, or let's just say Toshizo. So maybe it has something to do with that, or maybe All Japan just runs to run Saitama Super Arena at some point later in the year. So that might also be the reason.
I mean, it just Izanagi once again has a title and doesn't successfully defend it, and it's a shame because like Irie was a pretty good Gaora TV champion.
Yeah, I think I lamented that like on our last show, where it's like they always seem like there's always every once in a while you have like great like Gaora TV title reigns, so you're kind of hoping that they're actually going to do something with the belt, and then they put it on Izanagi and then immediately flip it over to Toshizo, and now it's just again just a complete like undercard belt, like,
and I wouldn't
match on the show.
I wouldn't expect Toshizo to hold it that long.
No, but I'm also have like no idea who is even going to win it. Like probably Black Menso-re.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's might or might not be a former Gaora TV champion, Paul.
That sounds like slander. I mean, who knows? I mean, who even would be like potentially be the guy there under the mask. I mean, we know it can't be Shohei Nakajima because he's still suspended. He can't be under that mask.
And so after that, we had sort of the official comedy match of the show. Even the previous match had a little bit of it. Masanobu Fuchi, Takao Omori, and the new sensation ATM defeated Yoshitatsu, Masao Inoue, and Sushi after Omori pinned Sushi with an axe bomber. This was fine. I mean, I like this stuff. I like seeing Fuchi. ATM's hilarious. It probably could have shaved a minute or two off this match, but completely inoffensive comedy match.
Yeah, that was fine. Happy though that you watched the Fortune Dream show and mentioned that Omori was currently in no fear mode.
Yes,
because I would have been confused why he was blonde.
That's right. He didn't dye it back.
Yeah, he didn't dye it back. Yeah, so I probably would have been like, why is he blonde? Is he gonna join Voodoo Murderers? But like, no, okay, it's just because he's because of the Fortune Dream show. Yeah, but otherwise, okay, kind of lower card match.
And the show picked up from here. And then we had Atsuki Aoyagi defeating Rising Hayato in 10 minutes and 7 seconds with the Firebird Splash. And then after the match, Atsuki looks like he's going to go over and, help up his tag team partner, but he just sort of stares at him and then walks away. We'd learn later that Atsuki has left Next Stream to join back up with his brother. And I thought this was an awesome match. I went 4 stars on it, just like quick, fast pace. Everyone hit their moves. There was like, I don't even think there was some botches, or if so, like it was just like very small, hardly noticeable. And just like, yeah, this is the All Japan Junior Division of the future right now. So like, if you want a taste of what's coming, this was a great match to see it in.
Yeah, I also thought this was really good. I'm probably not quite as high on it as you are, but I still thought this was like an incredible showcase for both men here. Yeah, we've been talking about like how these are like it's not just a showcase about like what they can do or like the people that they can become, but the people that they actually are now. And it also kind of shows that that's what the promotion thinks as well, because they gave him the singles match here, this kind of like seemingly like somewhat random singles match, but it really was just like to give them kind of the stage at this big show in front of all of these people to just have a match and just really show that like they have arrived now and that these guys are going to carry the junior division for most likely like years going forward as well. Like this was one of their first singles matches against each other. Like I'm not sure if they've had one before.
They would have had one in the SNRO Cup tournament in 2020 or 2021.
Yeah, but it definitely wasn't like this. Let's put it that way. Like,
right.
Probably,
definitely.
Like, I don't remember it, but it was definitely like a very different match. So that actually probably would be interesting to watch those two matches like back to back and just like compare how far they've come in like 2 years.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no, just a great showcase, and I think I feel very confident in saying that this is going to be a junior title match in the not too distant future.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully. Well, we'll get more into that later. Maybe it won't be for a while. Next up, making his eagerly awaited return, Naoya Nomura defeated Hokuto Omori in 4 minutes and 29 seconds with the maximum, which is his Death Valley driver. This was pretty great for a sub 5 minute match. Like Omori, like, sort of continuing from the angle where they got in each other's face. Like Omori attacked Nomura after before the bell on the outside, and then like Nomura, obviously like much larger, sort of like roughed up Omori, got back in the initiative, and then they got into the ring, and like Nomura was just brutalizing Hokuto, and then Hokuto got a couple of hope spots, but then like Nomura shut it down with like a spear and the maximum, and this match was short, but it did exactly what it needed to do. Like it was a quick hot match that Nomura was dominant in.
Yeah, and what I actually thought in this match is, when I was looking at the two of them in the ring, is that I think Hokuto actually has a chance to be a believable heavyweight, because he didn't look out of place in there with Nomura. Like it definitely could have been like a thing where like Nomura just towers over him, and like Hokuto doesn't really look like someone that would be like able to pull off believable offense against him. But I think he actually looked like someone that belongs in there with heavyweights, because he's a bit undersized for all Japan standards for a heavyweight, But I think he makes that up because he is getting like, he's starting to become like a really thick boy now. So I think if the promotion actually wants to make him a heavyweight, I think it would be believable.
I think so too. Yeah. And I kind of thought that for a while since he started bulking up. I don't know if he's going to run into a Koji Iwamoto situation, but maybe they'll be more open to it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, seems to be that the mindset is changing to some degree. And I mean, he would easily be a heavyweight in like pretty much every other promotion in Japan. It's pretty much just all Japan where like you have to kind of put the question mark behind it.
He's like probably the size of Naito.
Oh, yeah, he is pretty much like, I think he is actually taller than Nakajima.
By like a centimeter, but still.
Yeah.
So then after that, bit of a controversial one. I saw some shocked responses on Twitter to this in watching it live. In the PWF World Junior Heavyweight title match / Atsushi Aoki Memorial match, Tiger Mask defeated Hikaru Sato in 14 minutes and 51 seconds with the Tiger Suplex hold. And Sato came out carrying the version of the PWF World Junior Heavyweight title that was given to Aoki's family after his passing. So, when I saw him come out with that, I was like, oh, well, he's not losing this match. Well, this is an Aoki tribute match. And so they proceeded to then have him lose the match, because it's funny, Paul, because you were thinking, yeah, Tiger Mask is winning this. And then I think even you sort of thought, oh, it's the Aoki Memorial match.
Yeah.
Sato is going to win then. But no, as for the match itself, I actually liked it. I thought, like I expected, Sato was a good opponent for him. They did the mat work, the body limb parts, and the striking. I thought Tiger Mask looked a little weaker towards the end when he got into the bigger moves, but still, I thought it was pretty solid, all things considered. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, it was solid overall, but it was somewhat hurt for me because, well, yeah, I was also kind of shocked with the outcome, especially as you said, because he literally brought out Aoki's title, and then he loses. But because of that, I also thought that for sure Sato was going to win. So I kind of had a hard time kind of getting into the match because I thought the outcome was a foregone conclusion. And then, yeah, was shocked when Sato just got pinned. But yeah, solid match overall. I mean, if this is the Tiger Mask that we're getting, I guess it's going to be a decent title reign. I mean, let's see how motivated he's going to be on like the spot shows and everything. But just based off of this performance, it could be good reign.
Yeah, I was going to say or works with people with I think Sato's a good complementary style. He's going to, as we'll talk about, he's going to be working with people with different styles because after the match, Dan Tamura and Izanagi came out to challenge. It makes no sense for Izanagi to be challenging for this title.
It doesn't make sense for Dan Tamura to be challenging.
No,
all the time.
I know. But I think what it is that New Japan's requiring a defense quota for their wrestler before he can drop it. I mean, that's the only explanation I can come up with.
Yeah, no, because they're basically going to have as many junior title matches in like the next 2 months as they had in like the rest of the year so far.
Yeah, so we'll get more into that later, but they're both getting a shot. Not in a three-way though, which I thought was originally what they had said, but no. And then we had, interesting result. Shuji Kondo defeated Yuma Aoyagi in 11 minutes and 33 seconds with the King Kong Lariat. Thought this was pretty good, but not like great, but I did sort of like it still. I mean, it's a pretty solid match against two tremendous workers. But then it's just like someone that I assume is Toshizo because the commentary said Toshizo, but he was wearing a mask over his regular mask, I think.
Yeah.
Came out in the aisleway, and I think we were supposed to think, because he didn't actually interfere, we're supposed to think that Yuma got distracted and then Shuji hit like a short lariat and then the King Kong lariat to finish him off. Very surprising match because, Kondo was like the PWF junior champion in like late 2018. He was feuding with Koji Iwamoto. So, and he was of course previously champion, went back like when he was in All Japan full timer and under Muto. So he's like in canon still a junior, but he beats the champion carnival winner. I don't know. I mean, I understand why people might get angry at some of this booking and don't know where it goes, but I don't know. We'll see because we're getting more of Kondo. But Paul, what do you think of the match?
The match was fine. Never really got out of second gear for me. So definitely could have been better, but it was still solid overall. But then the finish just completely confused me. Like I was just baffled. Like I had to like go back and like see what actually happened.
Yeah,
And to me,
I went back to and
just
watched it.
like maybe Aoyagi was distracted, but they never even showed whether or not Aoyagi even knew that Toshizo was there, if that even was Toshizo, which I'm still not fully convinced that that actually was Toshizo, because there was like a different mask thing. But again, like it's also not because we didn't really see what he did in between coming out and then when they did the finish, like he wasn't visible at all during the finish. And then he came into the ring not with the same mask, so we don't really know where he went. Like, did he take off that other mask in front of the crowd? Did he go back, or did that person go backstage and then normal mask Toshizo comes back out?
Yeah.
So it was just incredibly weird. Like, it was definitely, like, to me, like the match itself was fine, but just the entire booking of it just left a sour taste in my mouth because it was just confusing.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
I actually would have liked it more if Toshizo had actually run in and hit him with the gas can and that leads to the finish, because at least I would have understood what happened.
right.
I still don't really understand what actually happened here. What I did like though in the post match was Atsuki coming in like literally from off screen onto the top rope and just flying in for the save. I did like that.
Yep. Honestly, Atsuki versus Kondo would be a pretty awesome match. You know, like a high flyer with a guy who's a great base.
Yeah, but then like what message does that send when like the junior brother beats Kondo when like the champion carnival winner can't? Which again, like I'm not sure this like because I would still count that as a clean finish because I was given no indication that Yuma Aoyagi was distracted. Because there was also a significant like time gap between Toshizo coming out, just kind of standing there, and then Kondo hitting the King Kong lariat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just incredibly weird. This might have something to do with the fact, as I mentioned, that Kondo is getting an open the Dreamgate shot. But then why even book the match if you know that like Kondo has to go over like one of your bargaining stars? So like, just, I don't know. To me, there isn't really that much of a defense for this booking. Like,
I do not usually advocate this for a singles match from a big show, but if you couldn't pin Kondo, it would have just made more sense to have a like a fuck finish like DQ.
Yeah,
because I mean, it is Voodoo Murderous.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So, and then you know you could still have Atsuki come out and make the save like from like you know Yuma getting beaten down. So I don't know.
Yeah, the only thing I'm still like is that the person that came out wasn't actually Toshizo, where maybe it is Naoya Nomura.
No, I don't think so. Only because of stuff that's been announced for upcoming shows. I guess it's not impossible, but I don't think it was. But I would assume that these guys will tangle maybe in the Oto tournament again.
Yeah, and then Yuma gets his win back there.
Yeah,
hopefully. So yeah, I could see that, but like, yeah,
he better be getting this win back.
Yes, it is incredibly weird, but I mean that would make sense. I mean, it depends. Wait, is the Oto because okay? Let's say Kondo.
It's in August.
I mean, if he loses against Kai, then it doesn't matter anyway. But even if he wins the Dreamgate, he's probably going to drop it at Kobe World. Which
when does he face Kai?
That is at the beginning of July.
And then Kobe World's later in July, right?
Yeah, so he would be like a very short title reign anyway, and then probably after the Odu tournament, after Kobe World, he can very easily drop a fall to Yuma. So
right. So
but still, like it's just incredibly weird decision.
Yeah,
because Shuji Kondo hasn't really been portrayed as a heavyweight, so it's just very odd.
I think some others may disagree with this, but I think that was the weirdest booking on the show.
Yeah, this one was even weirder to me than like Hikaru Sato losing the Atsushi Aoki Memorial match.
Yeah. Well, that one, I think, New Japan may, I don't know for sure, of course, but may have had something to do with it. Whereas I think All Japan could have avoided this a little easier. Not that they could have
unforced.
Yeah. So in what I thought was an incredible, pleasant surprise that I was ecstatic to see, Shotaro Ashino and Ryuki Honda defeated Shuji Ishikawa and Kohei Sato in 16 minutes and 9 seconds when Ashino made Ishikawa tap out to the ankle lock. The Twin Towers failed on their second title defense. And Honda becomes, and I checked this, Honda becomes the youngest World Tag Team Champion in All Japan history at 22 years old. This match, I was like iffy because the Twin Towers are old guys, but Honda and Ashino brought it, and Sato did a few things, but he didn't get in the way either. And Ishikawa worked hard, and he put over Ashino strong in the end. And there was because I was expecting the Twin Towers to win, I really bid on those near falls in this match, and they were awesome.
Yeah, I also absolutely love this match. I went 4 1/4 on this one.
Yep, same with me.
Yeah, so I thought it was awesome. Same as you, I bought on some of those near falls as well, where I was like, okay, here we go. And I was also like, oh, and they're also pinning Ashino as well. Okay. And then he kicks out. I thought that was really great. I also love when the sequence when Ashino had Ishikawa in the ankle lock, and then Kohei Sato comes in and tries to break it up. And then Honda just runs into the ring and just suplexes Sato pretty much out of the ring and out of the match, because I think he wasn't really seen again. And then we went straight into the finishing sequence with Ishikawa and Ashino. And I thought that was really awesome as well, where Ashino just continuously manages to roll out of Ishikawa's attempts to shake him off and just rolls back into the ankle lock.
Yeah.
Just refuses to let go until he finally gets Ishikawa to tap out, which I also didn't expect, because I was like, there is a chance that they're winning, but I didn't expect Ishikawa to just straight up tap out as well.
Yeah. I thought that Splash Mountain that Ashino escaped, I thought that was it. That was going to be the end of the match, right?
I already was on the Fire Thunder Driver. I was already like, oh,
yeah, of course.
Is it? I was like, oh, okay, here we go. And no, and then he kicks out. So yeah, no, I thought, and again, talking about some negative booking decisions. This was a great booking decision. This was a really, really good booking decision. As I said, Honda is now the youngest tag team champion ever. So they're clearly trying to push him. And this is also the perfect spot for him, because he can just develop more while he gets hidden a little bit as well within this tag team. And then hopefully this will be a little bit of a longer title reign, but we'll see about that.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that in a second. So after that, our semi-main event, Suwama and Taru defeated Yuji Nagata and Dan Tamura in 11 minutes and 55 seconds. After Suwama pinned Tamura with a backdrop, I will say I thought this was fine. I thought it wasn't a disaster at all. A 3-star match. I mean, there was some decent wrestling between Nagata and Suwama, and Dan once again got put in the dog chain in the collar and the leash, got hit with the board. His back got cut up bad again. So that sort of added some brutality and drama to the match. I kind of expected Nagata to pin Taru here or something like that, but I guess not. But other than that, I mean, I can't complain about this match. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I definitely find it at least a little bit questionable that they're letting Dan live out as Kings on live TV. So that's a bit weird. But it's also he just challenged for the junior belt, and then immediately on his match on the same show he gets pinned. Yeah. So it's strong challenger right there. I mean, otherwise though, it was fine. I think generally Dan has been really great in this role of getting beat up by voodoo murderers. Mm-hmm. But it is starting to get a little samey as well.
Yeah, for sure, because it's the same thing, and then there's going to be more matches with Nagata and Tamura against Voodoo Murderers. Forgot to mention, Dan naively tried to win Suwama back over by presenting him with some onigiri. And Suwama refused it. And then at the end of the match, Suwama took the onigiri and stuffed it in Dan's mouth while Dan was like lying on the mat.
They also stuffed it in his mouth, and then he hit him with a lariat.
Yeah.
And then it was literally like Suwama was so offended by being like offered this onigiri because he just kept coming back after the match to just beat up Dan some more. Like up until him literally ripping out the barricade and throwing it into the ring onto Dan as well.
Oh yes, that's right. And like I could have hit him accidentally badly too.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that don't like the Voodoo Murder stuff, and trust me, this could go off the rails. But I do sort of like the ongoing story with Dan and Suwama and calling back to the onigiri, because that was a thing that brought back Evolution previously before they looked like they were going to fall apart before.
But I'm actually wondering, like, because obviously he's teaming with Yuji Nagata now, but given that Voodoo Murderers are doing all of this like weapon stuff and everything, wouldn't there be a partner that Dan Tamara has teamed with before that has actually led to a fallout between him and Suwama before that he might want to bring in to like fight Suwama with?
Yeah.
Talking about Abdullah Kobayashi.
See, I wonder if Abdullah was originally slotted in this role, but they were able to get Nagata.
Yeah, I could see that as well. So they pretty much were like getting Nagata instead. Yeah, but I actually, that would have been I don't know, I get it from a drawing perspective, but it would have been so much cooler from like a storyline perspective.
Yeah.
Where then it also made more sense that like Suwama kicked him out for teaming with Abby. And then that actually comes back later in the year where he then teams against Suwama with Abby after Suwama turned on him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that was the decision with like who they could get, but whatever. Yeah, it just does. That would be better long-term storytelling, that's for sure. In our main event for the Triple Crown, Jake Lee defeated Kento Miyahara in 27 minutes and 57 seconds with the D4C to win the Triple Crown for the second time. And Miyahara was unsuccessful in his fifth defense of the Triple Crown in his fifth reign. I actually really like this match. It seems to be getting some pretty good reviews, although I took a gander on Cage Match and there were some people less enthusiastic about it. But I actually said in my review, you can read it at voicesofwrestling.com, I actually thought this was the best Jake and Kento singles match since Jake turned heel, although how much of a heel he still is debatable, which I thought sort of helped the match because Jake was doing less trying to show us how evil he was and just getting and wrestling a more of a straight match with Kento. I thought this obviously was paced very well. It was pretty much all action and a pretty good finishing stretch, but also like a win that didn't feel like Jake just barely pulled it out. He still put Kento away with a couple of high kicks and the knee back to the back of the head before the D4C. And I actually think this was the second best All Japan match of the year after the Champion Carnival finals. Paul, what do you think of the match?
Yeah, I thought the match was great. I went 4.5 stars on this one.
Same.
I wasn't super happy with the outcome of the match, but I can't really fault the match itself too much. Yeah, it was just a great performance by both men. It also it felt like a struggle as well. It's really could feel that also that these two are like really familiar with each other, which they really played up a lot in the build. They played it up as well in the video package before the match, which I thought was really, really good too. I mean, Jake did say that this was kind of the last Triple Crown match they were going to have. I don't fully believe that, but
I would take that more if he had lost. That would have been,
I mean, it depends how long this Jake Lee title reign is going to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, I assume that Kento is going to win it again. And whenever he will win, not sure if Jake will ever win it beyond these two reigns.
Mm-hmm.
But Kento obviously will win it again. And I mean, I don't think that All Japan will be able to resist booking this match again.
No.
When they get the chance to. So this is just yet another time of Jake just saying things that won't be true. So yeah, but otherwise the match itself was great. You could feel that they were going to go long as well, because I thought early on it was a little bit slow paced for my taste, but then they quickly kind of ramped it up at around the halfway point of the match, and then just pretty much just went kind of all out for the entire second half of the match, including like a great finishing sequence as well, with Jake just, I mean, literally holding on by the skin of his teeth to not like get suplexed by Miyahara. I think that was actually my favorite spot in the entire match.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that Jake didn't kick out of the shutdown German, because he's kicked out of it before.
Mhm.
So that was one thing that I thought.
Think they might be saving that, because I think he doesn't kick out of the shutdown if he's also winning the match.
Okay.
And I think they might be saving that. I mean, because one of my problems with the booking decision is because that means we're not getting Kento versus Yuma at Budokan.
Right.
That's pretty much guaranteed. Like, not pretty much, I think it is guaranteed at this point. Because
Yeah.
I think there's really no way you can get the title back onto Kento before Budokan, pretty much.
Nope.
Because you're realistically going to get the title defense against Suwama, and that's it.
Yep.
I mean, maybe we can lead right into that from this.
Okay.
Because Suwama came out after the match to challenge for the Triple Crown. So do you think that doing a quick title change onto Suwama now?
Well, if I were Jake Lee, I would have refused the title, because makes you look like a bigger geek than losing to Kento here, if you ask me.
Yeah, it absolutely does. But then, do you main event Budokan with Jake Lee?
Well, it looks like you're going to have to. Well, not guaranteed. Given that Jake's holding the title, here are your options for the Budokan main event: Jake Lee versus Yuma.
Yeah.
Or Jake Lee versus Tanahashi.
I mean, if you can get him, but
yeah.
Like, I mean, but then like, it's not just Jake that gets geekified, it's the whole promotion that gets geekified. If Tanahashi just rolls into All Japan and just beats their champion at the 50th anniversary.
Well, Cyberfight did it. Although this show has a lot more meaning than the Cyberfight Festival.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, also, it's, again, yes, technically Kojima is a New Japan guy, but that's only because his New Japan contract hasn't expired yet. So
right. But it's still giving an outsider like a title win on the biggest,
yes.
On the quote unquote biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
So
it would be that, and then, well, or you just go straight back to Kento Miyahara as Jake Lee.
Yeah, you could do that, but that just seems like, yeah, I don't know what they see, because I guess they still really like Jake, right? Yeah. Unless he's dropping the title to Suwama, and then they're just like, oh, we need someone to transition the title. But because, like, what is Kento versus Suwama supposed to represent? The promotion?
I guess. I mean, they both used to be in Voodoo Murderers, and
they've already wrestled this year.
Yeah,
in a tournament match.
But that was a different Suwama.
They wrestled.
Well, they've had two.
Oh yeah, they wrestled in the Champion Carnival.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if they had kept them apart longer or something like that, or
yeah,
I don't know. But like, I just hope Suwama does. Look, I know I see a lot of mixed things, and I'm gonna say that, like, because this sort of ties into the show overall. I really like this show. I think this is the best top to bottom show that All Japan's had since 2019, since before the pandemic, actually. And, wonky booking aside, there was also some great booking decisions on this show, obviously with the tag title and just letting Hayato and Atsuki do their thing.
Bring Naoya Nomura back.
Naoya Nomura back. Yeah. So I am bullish. Although obviously, if Suwama wins, I think they piss most of that away.
Yes, it is just, like the Triple Crown right now, like it's just taking it off of, like, because now I actually kind of don't want to see Kento in the Budokan main event.
Right.
Because
which is why Jake versus Yuma, I think, is probably the best thing they can do given what the circumstances are right now.
Yeah, I also think that's the best. Like, you just have him run through the Royal, like you just have Yuma win the Royal Road tournament. But again, like, it just probably would have been that more special if that's where Yuma gets his first win over Kento at Budokan, and now that definitely can't happen.
No.
But I'm still not fully convinced, especially now that Yuma will be in that spot, simply because he is in that feud with Naoya Nomura. So it could very easily also be that it is like semi-main is him versus Nomura in Budokan.
Right. Or the finals of the Odo tournament.
And then you just don't have a triple crown match at the Budokan?
No,
What
like
is the triple
Yuma
crown?
and Nomura face each other in the finals of the Oto tournament.
Oh, now I get you. Okay, I mean that actually would be a way to get around that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of like that option, yeah. So yeah, I mean if Yuma actually ends up in the main event of the Budokan, then I'm fine. Don't actually really care. Like it would have been ideal if it was Kento,
Yeah, I
but
think
if
so too.
Budokan ends with Yuma holding up the title, then I'm fine whether or not he beats Jake or Suwama to get there.
Yep.
But if it really is kind of anything else for the Triple Crown at the Budokan, then I'm just significantly less interested in that.
I think technically probabilities as of right this moment, I think technically Jake versus Kento is the most likely Budokan main event. Like if you were to parse it out by percentages. And if Suwama's winning the main, if Suwama beats Jake, the main event's against Kento, it's gotta be, right?
Yes. No, I mean if Suwama wins, then yes, it's definitely going to be Kento, because like who else would even make sense? Like he's not going to defend it.
Yuma wouldn't make sense either in that context because he just beat him in the champion carnival.
Yep.
It just doesn't feel right. And there's not as much built up between them.
No.
Either.
No, I mean they have feuded with each other before, but like mainly in like tag matches, and there isn't that like long story.
Well, maybe Ashino,
between
the least likely
Kento
thing,
and
Ashino versus Suwama.
That would be such a weird 50th anniversary main event, and that would also mean that Ashino has already lost the tag titles, which I hope doesn't happen that quickly.
Yeah. Also during the show, and I don't know if they're getting crazy about ambitious here. All Japan's doing a Korakuen Hall show the day after Budokan on September 19th. And so it's All Japan Dash at Korakuen Hall after the big show of the year. I don't know what's going on here, but like, I kind of want to see what they have planned for this.
I mean, we already got an announcement that Zeus is going to be on the show.
No. That's
what's that done?
No, that's in July in Osaka.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, because I like New Year's Dash, because I mean, and if they then make this kind of Budokan show like a regular thing,
are they resetting everything after the Budokan again?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that's kind of a good idea.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, because there's depending on how things go, they might need some resetting.
What if they just like disband Voodoo Murders and Suwama just goes back to normal, like after he loses the title to Kento in the Budokan? That would be so lame.
Yeah.
Like he just shakes hand with Dan. It's just like, oh, everything's fine now.
Yeah. So we'll get into this in a second, I guess. We'll just look at some. So yeah, I like the show, but there's obviously things could go south. Like I said on the last episode, yeah, I think there's lots of good stuff about the booking, but it could easily go south. So for upcoming shows, X is unfortunately not the Maltese Ricky Dozan. It's Shuji Kondo.
So why couldn't they announce that right away?
I don't know. Because Kondo had already appeared with Voodoo Murders, right?
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like a surprise that like Kondo isn't Voodoo. Like he was like we knew that already.
Yeah, which makes me wonder.
Here's maybe one thing where maybe they did actually try and get Gianni in, but then for some reason they couldn't get the visa processed in time, so they were just like, it's Shuji Kondo.
Well, we have no proof it was supposed to be Gianni. It's just thinking.
No, but it's just weird that they just wouldn't announce Shuji Kondo. So that at the very least to me is like maybe they had different plans, those fell through, and then they were just like, this guy.
Yeah, for sure. So in June 25th in Toyama, the big matches are Suwama and Shuji Kondo versus Yuji Nagata and Dan Tamura. I think the results of that match is pretty obvious.
Yes.
And then the main event got moved around slightly because now that Atsuki is rejoined with Jake, but the main event, I think it's the main event. It's Kento Rising Hayato and Shiro Koshinaka versus Jake, Yuma, and Atsuki.
Yeah, I would assume that Hayato takes the pin in that one.
Yeah, for sure. Or Hayato pinning Atsuki is not a bad thing either, sort of keep their rivalry alive because now they're rivals.
Yeah, but now because then later you also have like Yuma and Atsuki versus Real Blood. So I'm not sure if you want to pin Atsuki.
That's a good point. So in June 26th in Kyoto, the top matches are Jake and Yuma versus Suwama and Kondo, which I should also note, Suwama and Shuji Kondo are a former tag team. They have made it to the finals of the Real World Tag League. They were quite awesome. They had great matches against Kojima and Tenzan, actually, back in like 07, 08 or 06, 07, I think it was. So if you can track those down, check those out. Those are great matches.
Yeah. I actually expect Jake to get pinned here.
Well, that would be reassuring, actually, because it would say that Suwama is not winning the Triple Crown, I think so, or at least lowers.
Well,
that.
I mean, Jake pinned.
I know,
Tag,
which
so.
was quite the swerve, but
Yeah.
well, I mean, man, if I'm Jake Lee and I'm like getting punked out like this, I would be so pissed. I can't believe he would agree to do this.
I mean, but if there's one thing that we know about Jake Lee, it's just
I
he just
know.
loves taking L's.
I know. This is why. So I mean, that'll be a great match. And then All Asia Tag title match. This guy can't stop challenging for titles. It's the champions Hokuto Omori and Yusuke Kodama versus Izanagi and Black Menso Ray. After they didn't drop the tag titles to Hayato and Atsuki, I'm convinced that they're holding on to them until the Saitos get back.
Yeah, watch them actually lose this though.
Yeah.
And now that we say that, now they're definitely going to lose these.
Yeah.
Black Menso Ray.
And then Izanagi and Black Menso Ray will lose them to the Saitos without defending them or something.
That could also be the thing, yeah, where they just come in at I assume maybe that they're coming in at Budokan.
I would assume. Well, I'll mention them more in a bit. Sort of a Saito brothers update.
Yeah.
And then on this show, I thought this was interesting. Hikaru Saito versus Atsuki Aoyagi.
Yeah, that one I'm actually curious how that one is going to go, because
Like,
again, that's what we expected the match at Budokan to be, but obviously that's not going to be the case. But I assume Atsuki wins.
I think so.
Like that would make the most sense if you want to start building him up for Budokan.
Yep. I'm assuming that Tiger Mask is, or whoever the PWF junior champion is, it won't be defending in August during the Oto tournament.
Yeah. Is he going to be in it though?
Who? Tiger Mask? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. But I mean, it is open weight, so
yeah,
could be.
But they managed to put 32 people in there last year with little problems, so I don't think they really need them.
Yeah,
I assume it's going to be 32 man again. It should be. And then on July 9th, just a couple of announcements. This is kind of cool. Tiger Mask and Kosei Fujita from New Japan will be facing Dan Tamura and Ryo Inoue, sort of building up to Dan's challenge. So that's something to look forward.
Yeah.
And then Suwama versus Hikaru Sato.
That one I'm actually really looking forward to. That one could be really interesting. It could also be incredibly short.
Is Sato taking another L?
Yeah, I would expect that Sato takes another L.
Well, then that means is Sato beating Atsuki?
No, I think you can have him get beaten by Ats. Then again, I don't know.
He doesn't do that many jobs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's actually just something kind of that I just noticed looking over the card. Where Akuma Doi?
Yeah.
Because they weren't on the Ota Ward run and not announced for anything.
No, not all the full cards are out though for July. The end of the month ones are, but they're not on them. Like there's nothing for them to do right now, really. I don't think it's a huge loss. And they've missed shows before. So it's not like a big deal, I don't think. But we'll see. They're not an Odo tournament this thing's up.
Yeah. I mean, they're still listed on the website as like members of Total Eclipse and everything. So I don't think too much there.
I guess Total Eclipse still exists.
Yeah. I mean, because they already took Atsuki off of Next Stream on the website. So
okay.
They're always weird on like what they update on the website and what they don't, because Akira is still on there.
Yeah.
He hasn't been in the promotion in a long time. So yeah, and the Bodyguard is also actually still listed on the roster page.
Well, the Bodyguard pops in from now and again, as we'll get to in a moment. So July 4th or 14th in Korakuen Hall, this should be great. Yuma and Atsuki Aoyagi versus Naoya Nomura and Mizuki Watase, Real Blood. So the feud continues.
Oh yeah, this should absolutely roll. I think
Yeah.
This has the potential to be like a really, really good match as well, especially that you also put it on Korakuen Hall.
Yeah. And then in a build-up, I guess we should have mentioned this. Irie and T-Hawk are challenging for the titles, tag titles. Paul, do you have a chance? Do you think they'll win?
I think they have a chance of winning, but I would say that they're keeping it on Ashino and Honda.
Irie beat Ashino in the Champion Carnival, right?
Yes.
And T-Hawk did too, right? Yes, T-Hawk. I know T-Hawk did. Because T-Hawk just like no-sold a T-bone suplex and pinned Ashino with a cradle.
Oh, yeah, right. I remember. Yeah, it was actually one of his best matches in the tournament.
Yeah, and I think Irie beat him. So I think they're winning.
And I mean, they both beat Honda as well.
Yeah. And I don't think Great can really control what Irie does, right? Because he's just a freelancer.
Yeah, he is a freelancer.
Yeah. So on this show, it'll be Ashino, Honda, and Tachibana. They're still as of yet unnamed unit versus T-Hawk, Irie, and Lindemann, which should be another banger.
Mm-hmm.
And that
very much roll. But I mean, Tachibana's taking the fall here.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And then for the PWF World Junior Heavyweight Championship, Tiger Mask versus Dan Tamara. Which what do you think of this match? Because like Tamara can't carry like an old guy like this.
No, because he's like right now, it's like the best when he's like selling, which I don't think Tiger Mask is like that compelling of an offense for like Dan to sell for. Because he's also like getting beefy now himself, so it would be just kind of weird.
Yeah, he's starting to resemble the Tiger Mask in the front row of all Japan shows.
Yeah. No, I mean, with that said, I was also like partially through the show, I was kind of confused when I was like, wait, why is, and I was like, oh, right, no, right, it's just the normal fat Tiger Mask that is in the audience. Did briefly think that Tiger Mask just sat down after his match. But yeah, I don't know what to expect for this match. Like, I mean, I don't give Dan any single chance of winning this match, but I mean, maybe it will exceed expectations, but I mean, this is definitely like the biggest spot for Dan so far, but yeah, I don't know. Really not sure what to expect here.
And then,
I mean, it could also be short, like it could just be like a 5-minute match as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like it'll be 10 to 12. I think it definitely won't be as long as the match against Sato.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 10 to 12 and maybe even shorter. And then, of course, for the Triple Crown, Jake Lee versus Suwama. I think Suwama is like wants to show what Jake a real heel is. So I don't know what this is going to consist of. Are they just going to wrestle this straight? Is there going to be shenanigans? Is Suwama going to like choke Jake with shit and like throw guardrails at him? I don't know.
I mean, I would expect so, because again, like the whole Suwama heel turn is kind of based off of him facing off with like Total Eclipse and that Voodoo Murderers match.
I'm just setting my expectations low.
Yeah.
And then I can hopefully be surprised. Maybe Jake. Look, if Jake is retaining, I think he'll work hard.
Yeah. I'm still.
This is so scary.
This is such a weird thing.
Because then, like, they piss away so much that they built this year.
Yeah.
I mean, say what you will, we're putting it back on Jake, but this is far worse.
Yeah. What would actually be worse if Suwama just pins Jake clean, or if it's just a complete bullshit match with like non-stop run-ins by
I'll still go with the bullshit run-ins or worse.
Yeah.
Because you're doing this in a Triple Crown match.
Yeah, in Korakuen as well.
The sacredness of the Triple Crown. So yeah, no, I don't know. I'm still leaning towards Jake, but we'll see. Maybe the build-up shows will send us a different message. And then so
I prefer it if Jake wins, but I'm also just leaning into like the fact that Jake is just maximum geekified, where I'm probably leaning at Suwama's winning this.
This will maximum geekify Jake if he does lose. Absolutely, no question. He's toast. He's damaged goods if he loses this match, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I think maybe that's already the view that they have of him anyway. So that's fine. Like this might be why, because they didn't want to have Kento lose the bullshit match to Suwama, because for some reason they wanted Kento as the challenger in Budokan. Yeah. And so they're putting in Jake because they don't really believe him in any way, and give him this like quickie second title reign and just have him get punked out by
Suwama. They still put him back in the Carnival Finals. They still had him have all those singles matches before he challenged or faced Kento. It doesn't, they just keep putting out merch for him. He's got a new T-shirt that we talked about last week and a new like towel that people wave. So it's like I could see if they had lost faith in him, but I feel like everything that they've done since he's come back doesn't really feel like a loss of faith necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, we will get a definitive answer here.
Yes, we will. And maybe
if he just gets punked out by Suwama, then we know that they think he's a geek.
Yeah. And then on July 8th or 18th in Osaka at the Osaka Flower Expo Memorial Park, Surumi Ryokuchi Hanamizuki Hall, which is
Could you have made that name longer?
well, that's a translation name, but this is located in a large like public park in like Eastern Osaka. I looked it up. And this is also on a Monday, which is a holiday. So I assume maybe this is some sort of like flower type festival or like summer festival going on at the same time as the show, maybe because it starts in the afternoon. I'm curious
if are they going to like sell tickets, or is this going to be just?
I think tickets are on sale for that. No, I think tickets are on sale for this.
I mean, it could I would assume also that means they can like make noise as well because it's outside.
Well, I don't know if it's outside because there's a sports complex in the park.
Okay. Yeah.
And so on this show, you've got Izanagi challenging the winner of Tiger Mask and Dan Tamara. And then the world tag titles, and hopefully they get a chance to main event the show. Although I'm not completely sure. It might be so Zeus and Bodyguard were announced for this show. And so I'm thinking if the world tag isn't the main event, it's going to be some multi-man with like Kento and like all those guys.
Yeah.
But really,
I think the tag titles are going to main event here.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get the most time. Anyway, T-Hawk versus Irie, incredible match. I'm looking forward to. I'm still leaning towards Ashino, like making Irie tap out or pinning him or something.
Yeah. I also think that they're going to win, but I think the match is going to be great.
Oh yeah.
I think so far, actually, for all of the criticism that we've given the booking of the tag title sometimes, I think pretty much all of the tag titles matches so far this year have been great. And this
absolutely
has a chance of being the best out of all of them, which I think is really high praise.
Well, Ashino's been champion with two different partners, but you could certainly say he's one of the best tag team wrestlers of the year. Even if it's not absolutely the best team. And so, Saito Brothers update. You've also noticed that a certain other high-profile wrestler has not been on recent All Japan shows. Tajiri has not been on them because Tajiri is now in the UK with the Saitos, and they're going to be working some shows. You can see everything like Tajiri's tweeting out from his account. He was doing a training session and some British wrestling school. There was everybody in the ring and they took a group photo and everything. And so they got a match, like Tajiri's wrestling. They got a match at some World Pro Wrestling in the UK?
Yeah, some tiny promotion there. Yeah.
And then they're doing OTT in Belfast, I think.
Yeah, in Belfast. They're working Kings. Now, to be fair, fuck OTT, but they are going, the Saitos are going to work the Kings of the North. Yeah. That's kind of a perfect fit for them, because if I had to pick kind of what I want the Saitos to work like, it would be somewhat like the Kings. Mm-hmm. So I hope that they'd take some notes when they work those guys.
Yeah. And then I don't know if the Saitos are on these shows, but I would assume they probably are. But I believe it's July 8th or 9th or 7th or 8th. Tajiri's in Vienna. So I as yet to find out if the Saitos are with him on that show. So if you're in Vienna, you can see Tajiri if you want to. Or
he also published a book.
Yes, he also published a book. What pro wrestlers are trying to show the audience. So I went and it's available. He sends a Amazon Japan link, but it's a Kindle, so anyone can get it. I went to look at it, and it's a Kindle book. It's $24.99 American, which I thought was pretty pricey for a Kindle book.
You can get a hardcover book for that.
Yeah. Now it's probably paid for probably costs because you got to pay for the translation of it, right? I'm still considering picking it up, but I haven't yet. If I do, I'll review it. But
quite pricey, I have to say. That's twice as much as I would have expected it to cost, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he is plugging it a lot, because for example, on that post that he made from the training session, he also had the Amazon link below it as well.
Yeah.
Sell it to people.
He's a consummate worker. He's got to push the downloads. I probably will give in at some point and buy it, but we'll see.
Does it say how many pages it has?
I didn't check.
Because that's also if he wants 25 and it's 100 pages, then No.
That is it's like what, 40 cents a page? That's pricey.
Yeah.
You can get like huge books for like, what, $12 to $15. Like, how much does a bestseller cost? Like a recent release?
I would say like 12, maybe 12
Yeah.
euros, 12, 15
Yeah.
euros.
Yeah.
But so, and like, again, like for like 25 euros, you can normally get a hardcover book.
Yeah.
Like, because that, like a soft cover is like 12, 15, but like you can get an actual like proper hardcover book that you can put like on your shelf and everything for the same price.
Yep. So, well, we'll see. I might give in at some point because it talks about his time. I read the thing about it, and I think it talks about some of his time in WWE and talks about working with like William Regal and stuff. And like, honestly, I'm kind of curious about that. So, see what.
No, I mean,
stories,
definitely interesting to read. It's just, yeah, that price point is. Yeah.
Oh, also, once again, All Japan is having an Osaka wrestler challenge in Osaka and almost certainly losing. An Osaka wrestler has not gotten a big win in Osaka since Zeus won the Triple Crown in 2018.
Well, I mean, he also didn't draw on that, so I guess that's maybe why they decided to just
They've
drop out
decided
all
to
the
go
Osaka guys.
they've decided to go the WWE route and just have everybody lose in their hometown.
Yeah, I mean, well, not in their hometown, just Osaka guys.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, they've drawn better in Osaka.
Oh yeah,
since then,
Hokuto
so it seems to be
retained.
working.
Hokuto retained the title in his home prefecture.
Yeah, so it's just jobs for Osaka guys. Everyone else gets to win at home.
Yeah, and so and Zeus and the Bodyguards match hasn't been announced yet. And then we did the Seto brothers and Tajiri update. I would assume Seto, and that's why I was talking about them. Like, I assume they're going to be back for Budokan and probably win the All Asia Tag Titles. And so this is where we would have talked about the Noah show, but it has not been uploaded to Wrestle Universe, or at least I couldn't find it, and you couldn't find it either. So I don't think it's on there.
We can talk about the number though that they drew, because I think that was actually a really good number.
Yeah, 800 people in Kyoto.
Kobe,
Or was
in
it
Kobe
Kobe?
Samba Hall. It
Oh,
was
it was
Kobe
Kobe.
Samba Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really good
Yeah.
because like generally people will draw like 300 people in there on average.
Yeah.
If even that, like generally that's even considered like a good number in that one. So like drawing like twice of that, like it's because we've been really critical of like Noah numbers recently, but like have to give them credit here where like that's just a really good number because it's also like drawing that as well with, I mean, it was an okay card, but not like
It was
like,
no different.
It's not
than
that they loaded it up. Like,
well, they would have drawn like 450 in Cork. I think it's them being outside and maybe they haven't had a show in Kobe recently.
Yes, that is actually
that would have drawn 400.
My next point as well.
Yeah,
like,
that would have drawn 450 in Cork.
Yes, because really, to me, like what this shows is like that companies need to go out of Tokyo anymore.
Yeah,
because Tokyo is just completely burned out, and like we saw that with All Japan going to Sapporo and drawing good numbers. We saw it now with Noah going to Kobe and drawing great numbers. Like companies just need to like just reduce their Tokyo shows and just go to the rest of the country more because clearly there's massive demand.
Yeah,
to go there, and you can draw like great numbers with just putting on okay cards.
There's some pretty good New Japan numbers too in like mid-sized, smaller cities as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely something that they've got to start doing. And so some other notes for Noah, some more Macs were revealed for the Budokan show on July 16th. We got Ninja Mac versus Dante Leon, which I think surprised a lot of people. I don't know if I've ever seen Dante Leon. If it has been, it's been like in a GCW scramble.
It's not that great.
Yeah,
like, I'm really disappointed with this match.
I've seen him have a few defenders that most people don't seem to like him.
Yeah, it's like, and to me, it's like, okay, so you bring Ninja back to Japan for him to have a match that he could also have in like a VFW hall in like, I don't know, Kentucky or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, instead you're just gonna do it in the Budokan. It's like, I don't know. Like the draw for me for Ninja Mac in Japan is to see Ninja Mac work like the Japanese guys and not like work another American. Like, I have no interest in that.
Yeah. Or like some lucha guy that he hasn't faced before that they bring.
Yeah,
in.
exactly. Like to have like a fresh match.
Mm-hmm.
And this is definitely not a fresh match.
No.
Like,
apparently he's Mac's friend, so.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I don't know, like, because with Mac, like, there is some criticisms about like how he works and everything, but like at least there's like his athleticism is undeniable.
Yeah.
Whereas Dante Leon, like, I've never really seen all that much in him, so like this just feels like to promote Noah doing like Mac a favor after he got super over.
Yeah.
But like, I don't really have any expectations for this, and hopefully this is not like a trend. Like I hope afterwards, like Mac just starts working more with like actual Noah roster members.
Well, I mean, it's pretty clear Cyberfight has a relationship with GCW and like
Such a weird combination. DDT gets AEW and Noah gets JCW.
Well,
It feels
no,
backwards.
well, because Janelle is going to DDT.
True, but like I don't know, it's like it still feels backwards.
Yeah.
Where like I would love to see some AEW guys in Noah rather than
For
like,
sure.
Dante Leon.
Oh, that would be such a political
Or some
mess.
of the other people that are going to be on this show as well.
Yeah. And so I think we can all figure out who came up with this match. Hardcore match: Rob Van Dam and Masato Tanaka, Team ECW, versus Nasawa Rangai and Super Crazy. Oh my God.
Is Super Crazy going to turn on Nosawa here?
It's possible.
And then he's going to join up with Tanaka and RVD, and we get like an ECW faction. Actually, literally just thought of that, and now I'm like kind of completely convinced myself that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, that's also the other thing, because are RVD and Tanaka going to come out to the ECW theme like crazy, Super Crazy and Tajiri in all Japan?
It wouldn't shock me.
Because Japanese promotions just don't seem to give a shit about that. So
No.
it's weird how like ECW nostalgia is hitting Japan like 15 years after that was a thing in the US.
Well, yeah, because like there were times when Japanese promotions could have brought in Rob Van Dam because he wasn't in like WWE or Impact or whatever, but it's now hitting it. Yeah. So, and then so in a rather random teaming, it's Go Shiozaki, Takashi Sugera, and Kazuyuki Fujita versus Masakatsu Funaki, Katsuhiko Nakajima, and Manabu Soya. I mean, that'll probably be good. Does Nakajima take the pin here?
Probably.
Well, I mean, Soya's
I
right
don't
there,
really
but
see who else in this. Like Soya obviously could take it as well.
yeah.
But I mean, I think that will give us a good indication on how much they want to punish Nakajima.
Mm-hmm. And as we mentioned on our last episode, what will be the main event is Satoshi Kojima versus Keno for the GHC title, of course. But what's the real main event, Paul, of this show?
Well, it's going to be Keiji Muto beating Kaito Kiyomiya in 10 minutes.
Yeah. So it's Keiji Muto versus Kaito Kiyomiya, called Wrestling Love Forever 1. The Final Countdown is the name of the match. Does Muto lose his first retirement match?
He should, but he won't.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, Kaito's really toast then.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think he even like gets damaged that much by like losing to Muto one more time. Because I also don't think he would be helped all that much by winning here either. So
it's still better than losing, but yeah.
I mean,
the ideal sort of like time was before, but
yes.
Now, does he lose here and then beat Muto on another one later on?
I mean, Muto's already talking about adding more shows.
Yeah, he floated a 6th in Tokyo Sports.
Yeah.
But we got, well, this is all tentative, of course, because maybe his hip doesn't last till the other dates, or someone else like New Japan or something may come on offer. But on September 25th at Grand Ship in 2022 Nagoya at the Aichi Prefectural Gym, he has a match. He has a match at the Ariake show in October.
Yeah.
And the Great Muta retirement match will be on January 22nd at Yokohama Arena.
So you did kind of put the kibosh on our conspiracy theory that he was going to continue wrestle as the Great Muta.
Right. Well, Paul, he's got a third persona that's like a sort of dark Hakushi thing. I can't remember what the name was, but he did it in All Japan.
Oh yeah. When he was feuding with Hakushi, yeah.
Yeah. So he still has that to retire. But Paul, they're doing Yokohama Arena exactly 3 weeks after doing the New Year's Budokan show. Now, does that cannibalize it because you don't have Muto at the Budokan, but you've got him at 3 weeks later at Yokohama Arena?
A little bit. I mean, it depends what the GHC title match is going
of
to
course.
be for the Budokan show. So,
but is that just ambitious to run those two shows so close?
I mean,
together?
that's the entire Noah schedule anyway. It's super ambitious.
Yeah, but
So,
that seems really crazy.
That's if it works, like
because
who this
apparently
plan-
Yokohama's not cheap. Yokohama Arena is not cheap. I remember hearing that. Well, years ago. It was,
Yeah.
but I assume it's
I
still
mean,
not.
it's not run super regularly, so
No, it's like because it's a modern, fancy arena.
yeah. I mean, it's also I'm curious, like for the Ariake show as well, like what match he's going to be in there for that.
Yeah.
Is he going to be in a title match?
Yeah, I mean, does he challenge Kojima after beating
Yeah.
Kaito? And does he drop it or does he? I can't believe it. He's not going to pull over in Gagne and retire with the title.
No,
That just seems-
he's gonna, and it's gonna be the summer of Keiji Muto. He threatens to retire with the title, and then he does that. Oh yeah, he's going to beat Kaito in that final match as well, in his retirement match with
Yeah.
the belt.
Yeah. Oh, and so and other notes on the Budokan announced but not matches yet. Stallion Rogers, aka Kurt Stallion, and then Anthony Green will be on that show. Paul, do you have any thoughts about them? I've never seen Rogers, and I've seen Anthony Green a few times. He's not bad. He's a fun little worker, but like he doesn't really give me a Noah vibe.
No, and Rogers is another one of those guys. Like he's also like an Elgin guy.
Mhm.
Also someone that has said some incredibly shitty things in the past. So there's that with him as well. Anthony Green, not a controversial person, at least as far as I know, but also not someone that like really like excites me all that much. I mean,
Mhm.
maybe he will exceed my expectations because I mean we kind of had the same feeling previously with the previous crop of foreigners.
Well,
as
right,
well.
but Gotch, I can see why he would
Yeah.
fit in, even if I
Yeah.
wasn't sure that he was. I could like it made sense, right?
It was
Why
always
they-
like a thing where style-wise, he definitely fits in with the style. It's just, can he actually keep up
yeah,
with the Noah guys? And turns out, yes, he can. Whereas Green is like just your very standard American style kind of indie, not even indie, but just American style kind of wrestler.
yeah,
Like he's not bad, but he's like solid.
yeah. He's solid,
I don't know if that's like,
but US indie solid.
yeah, like if that's really like a thing that is like gonna fit in well with Noah. So yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
genuinely look. I'm not against like bringing in people from the indies to give them a chance. I mean, if you look traditionally at Japanese companies, you would be shocked at some of the names that they gave a tour to over the years just to see if,
absolutely,
how they could
absolutely.
hang. So that's
Some
not
people
really.
that they gave multiple tours to
Yeah,
over the years.
some of them. So, but my point is, I'm just curious who they have scouting these people. Like, I can think of way better names on the U.S. Indies to give even just give a kick of the tires to.
I mean, it feels like it is to some degree. It's Elgin actually that is feeding some of these guys in him because I don't think they're booking someone like Stallion Rogers.
Right.
It feels like Elgin is feeding them guys.
Is Green? I'd have to look more into Green's career if he knows Elgin or something. Like I never.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know about that, but like Rogers is definitely like a guy that is only there through like the Elgin connection.
That makes sense. Yeah,
But
I don't
definitely
know.
like it definitely feels like they're just kind of throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks. I mean, so far they've had a pretty good hit rate.
Yeah.
It's just that like, yeah, I don't know, Dante Leon, Stallion Rogers, and Anthony Green is like, I don't know.
When's the countdown to Violence is Forever getting booked in Noah?
I would love that. Would be awesome. I would love that. That would be great. Like especially Kevin Koo, I think actually would get over really huge in Japan.
Yeah.
Although maybe he can't come in because of all of the tattoos.
Well, I mean, look at all the other
Yeah, that's true. All of them
tattooed
have tattoos.
tattoos.
Yeah. But he would like. I think he would get over like he also fits in really well style wise.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely guys who could bring in like just I don't know, bring in like an Adam Priest. That would be cool.
Yep. For sure.
Bring in. I mean, if you already have a bunch of like grapple guys, fucking bring in Danny Maccabee.
Yeah.
You just want to
Definitely.
throw shit at the wall and see if it sticks. Like bringing guys that fit in well with the style of the promotion.
Mm-hmm. Which Rogers and Green really don't.
No, like Green especially, like I feel could stick out a bit like a sore thumb. Like I don't know.
I would say Green would have a better chance getting over in DDT with his like sort of goofiness.
He hasn't really done that recently though.
Right. But just his look and everything too.
Yeah. If he just restarts all of the goofiness, he could definitely like fit in better with DDT.
Mm.
And Dante Leon, I'm just like he just does nothing for me.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he just somehow manages to like pull out like another gear or something, but just by being in like the Budokan or something, it's like the biggest. I mean, it's by far the biggest arena he's ever worked in.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, because if he fucks up, he'll probably never come back. right? If he doesn't have a good match. So we move on to Dramatic Dream Team for their King of DDT first round. Because of the slap heard around the world, Masahiro Takanashi got a bye in the first round. So there was only 7 matches on the show, and that was how that Shinjuku face in Tokyo, drawing 444 fans for a Supernova Agency full house, which actually drew more than the second round, which is not usually how tournaments are supposed to work. But like I said,
Also not how building sizes, given the building sizes there as well.
Yeah.
But this was a good number. This was a great number. This is actually like the best number in Shinjuku phase since the pandemic started. Like you actually need to go back to like late 2019, because even shows early on in 2020 that didn't have capacity restrictions didn't draw this many fans.
Right. Well, because indies run Shinjuku that don't
Yeah.
sell it out, right? And a lot of indies do too, right?
Yeah.
So in the first match of the tournament, Hiroshima defeated Hideki Okatani in 9 minutes and 6 seconds with a Somato. I thought Okatani's intensity was good here. Like I like him in Eruption. Then, Hiroshima came back and then pinned him with the Somato. This is like a 3.25, 3.5 match, like in and out, tell the story. Okatani cannot overcome the veteran, even despite his new persona.
Yeah. I mean, Okatani is still like somewhat of a young boy or just out of young boy status. I'm still not quite like, because he's technically, he's the Eruption young boy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, thought this was like a really nice kind of match to start the tournament. As I said, like Okatani was just kind of like showing off his fire, trying to get the upset on Hiroshima, but then Hiroshima just comes back with like his veteran experience and gets a relatively easy win overall. Just solid story and just good way to start off the tournament.
In the in the second match of the tournament, Naomi Yoshimura defeated Chris Brooks in 7:24 with the Harai Goshi. I guess you could say this probably didn't go long enough. I thought it was fun for what it was. They did some fun, like good comedy with like, getting his shoe caught, Yoshimura getting his shoe tied up to like a guardrail on the outside and then having to get back into the ring. And then like Brooks like stomping on his foot with no boot on it and stuff like that. A flash ending. I thought it was good, but I don't quite think this was as good as something that Yoshimura and Brooks could have done, right? It was just like this is a first round filler match, really.
Yeah. And we should also just quickly mention as well that we're only going to talk about the tournament matches here.
Yes,
so we're not
I'm
going
sorry.
to talk about anything except
I watched that kickboxing match for you people and it was a waste of my time.
Okay. That also felt like a low key, like that they booked something like that, like a shot at the fact
of course.
It was like next door. But yeah, so could have been better if it would have been just a straight up non-comedy match. I mean, but they did fine for like the
right, but it's just
year.
The comedy didn't bother me. I thought it was fine. It's just it was abrupt ending and short match from given the talent of these guys. Now when
you also had like Yoshimura like tying up, or rather Brooks tying up Yoshimura like outside and everything. So like
now things really picked up here. Yuki Ueno defeated Cannon in 15 minutes and 9 seconds with the BME. This is awesome, actually, really good. Like the first, like great. You should go out and watch this match of the tournament. Cannon was a great pickup for DDT coming out of Just Tap Out. I think he can actually really be a player moving forward, even in Damnation TA. I mean, I just thought like, bam, these guys were like, young, fast, high flying guys, and they just meshed together perfectly.
Yeah. I would like this was really kind of part of a trio of like matches that in the first one that to me were like all really close to each other in terms of like quality.
Mm-hmm.
I think I preferred the other two as well, so we're going to talk about them later, but this was like a really good performance. Like it was really impressive Cannon as well, like being able to keep up with Ueno, who is just one of the best workers on the entire roster, or maybe actually the best wrestler on the entire DDT roster. And he really kind of showed that he can hang with him here. So yeah, I'm going to be really curious how he's going to develop like over like the coming years as well. And maybe if they're going to like do something down the line with him and Sasaki, when maybe he eventually like breaks away from Damnation. But for now, I think it's kind of perfect for him to kind of be in a faction there as well and kind of like just start to like make a name for himself in DDT. But yeah, just good match overall.
In the next match, Daisuke Sasaki defeated Yuji Hino in 8 minutes and 45 seconds with a horizontal cradle. I was just like, meh. The Sasaki stuff happened. MJ Paul interfered. There's parts of this that Hino looked a little disinterested, but he still, threw some nice chops. I don't know. I mean, I didn't like this very much.
No, this was just a bit.
Well, though not the
meandering around.
worst match on the show.
No, not the worst match on the show, but it was just kind of both guys just meandering around the ring and just doing shit basically.
Yeah.
As you said, like Hino was just also had like a bit of a case of like boo-boo face, that kind of gave away the finish in a way. And then Hino just kind of.
I wonder if Hino thought he was leading 0-1 for greener pastures in DDT, and because they haven't really been doing that much with him.
No, yeah, he's been kind of stuck in but that's just kind of the story of Yuji Hino's career, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like he got that one big push in Noah, and then that's been pretty much it.
Yeah. And then, Yuki Sexy Hino defeated Mao in 14 minutes and 59 seconds with the Earth Shisha. Paul, this was full of shit and big fat dud. Mao came out in a hazmat suit, which was sort of funny for the first 20 seconds of it. And then it just, what do you expect? Like, doing his usual stuff, his bare ass out, like doing the pipe thing where he's like farting into people's face. And, I mean, I've decided that, it might be like my most hated wrestler right now. It's just getting, and because they still, and you know what the thing is with it is like, they still sort of push him to a certain level. Like, so you're supposed to sort of take him more seriously than like the other pheromone members too.
Yeah, which is weird because he's technically like the biggest guy in pheromones now, which is very odd. And it's probably like, it's like, I will say that I will just never really be on board with like DDT trying to convince people that like sexual assault is funny.
Right.
Like it just always leaves like like just kind of a like sour taste in my mouth. And it's especially bad because Ino is like a good wrestler otherwise. Yeah. Like before the gimmick. And now he's just doing this shit all the time. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, I find it very off-putting.
Mm-hmm. And then in the semi-main event, Jun Akiyama defeated Yukio Sakaguchi in 10 minutes and 46 seconds with a wrist clutch exploder. I saw some people sort of raving about this match. I thought it was good, but not great. Akiyama's starting to show his age, I thought, in this match more so than I've seen before, to be honest with you. I'm sure you could still turn it on if you really wanted to for a big match, but it just was sort of, kind of glaring here. Although there was some, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't that exciting. Although there's some great like stiff shots from each other. Yeah,
I thought it was definitely like Sakaguchi was the better guy in the match, but I thought he really did a great job at carrying the match as well. Because Akiyama didn't really work hard in this match, but like I think Sakaguchi made up for that. And just he was really the guy that just inserted like a lot of energy into the match. I get why Akiyama moved on, but I was also still really holding out hope that somehow Sakaguchi would be like win here. But it wasn't to be, but I thought it was still like a really, really good match. Like I think I just slightly preferred it above Ueno and Kanon because I was just more invested.
Oh, really? Okay.
I was more invested in the outcome of this match because I was just very certain that Ueno was going to win. Yeah. Whereas on this one, I was like mostly sure Akiyama was winning, but I thought there was like an outside chance that Sakaguchi could pull it off. So that just kind of made the match more interesting to me overall. But as I said, like Akiyama was showing his age here a little, but just Sakaguchi to me, like he made up for that. So it was just, I thought it was a great match.
That's right. Tony, get Eddie Kingston over here before June is too far gone to have that match. And then in the main event, Kazusada Higuchi defeated Yukio Naya in 18 minutes and 45 seconds with the Brain Claw Slam. Started a little slow, but God, this picked up and was just great. Like insert Big E meme here. Because they just really went at each other and by the end of this, it was great. And Paul, we've said this on the show before, but Naya has really improved.
Yes. This was easily the best Naya singles match.
Absolutely. I've never seen anything better than this. Yeah.
No. So I think he's really like, hopefully this is really like the sign of him like really putting things together now. Which, yeah, I think I talked about this before as well. For like big men like him, like sometimes there's just this one flip switch that you need to flip, and then all of a sudden they're really good. So maybe this is finally that moment for him. I thought it was also a tremendous job by Higuchi as well, because he sold like, because a lot of this match was also like Higuchi selling for Naya as well,
Right.
which I think helped Naya as well to have a guy of the size of Higuchi like sell his offense. Yeah, I thought this was just a really great like big man match, just kind of throwing bombs at each other and just like beating each other up. Like I'm actually willing to go like 4 stars on this match.
Oh
Like,
yeah, so did I.
loved it.
Yeah.
I also like, despite the fact that Naya like showed a lot here, I think Higuchi moving on is the right decision as well.
Yes.
But I really hope that this is like a performance that Naya can build on going forward, and actually is finally like able to kind of like become like a proper like singles guy in DDT as well.
And so we move on to the second round, which is on June 19th in Corkin Hall. This was, of course, also going on during the big kickboxing show, and it only drew 430 fans, which not great.
No. I mean, that's the thing though, like it's not just this show, and like, yeah, you can make the excuse with the fact that there was like the big kickboxing show going on next door, but like their numbers in Corkin recently have been really bad.
Do you think it's Takeshita?
It might be because they've like, it really started to drop off after he left.
Yeah, because that was was he on the show with Ueno and Endo? No,
I'm pretty sure he wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think he was. I can double check, because I like wasn't the Sumo Hall show his last show before he went over?
I think he might have worked like a small show or two.
See what his last match in DDT was. Oh, he did work the April show. He did work the April show. In Corrigan, where he lost to Burning and Sakaguchi.
Oh right, yes.
But he hasn't worked.
But he didn't work Max Bump, I think was the show.
No, he didn't work Max Bump. Yeah, so he wasn't on that show.
Okay, yeah, because that's when it sort of that was like,
when it started to be notable. Yeah. And because so that show in Corrigan, that one drew 580, so also that wasn't great. So definitely is a thing where like DDT has been struggling in Corrigan lately. Like if I just look like over the recent numbers, like they drew, like this was kind of the nadir with like 430, but their previous show on the 1st of June drew 480, and that had a universal title match on top. Then the show before that, so that was the last show with Takeshita, and that drew 528. That isn't really great either. So like they're just really struggling to like put people into Corrigan right now, which is a problem for DDT more so than other promotions, because other promotions, as we said, like should go to other places and draw good numbers. They're like, no, I just stayed in Kobe.
Yeah.
But DDT can't really do that because they've never drawn outside of Tokyo. Like they're a complete Tokyo promotion.
So yeah, that's not good.
No.
So in the first match of the show, Kazusato Higuchi defeated Masahiro Takanashi in 441 with a brain claw slam. I admit I laughed because they had Valiant Aki and Antonio Honda both dressed up like Takanashi with like the bandana and the long hair. Like Honda was wearing a wig, but it sort of works with Aki because he's got the long hair too. So that was sort of funny, and it was quick. So yeah, like good. I'm sort of curious what the original plan was. Do you think Higuchi would have beaten Endo here? I assume that's what
I could see that. Yeah, probably. Yeah, because you probably wouldn't have put Takanashi. I mean, the Takanashi is a champion,
right? But...
So I could have seen maybe that they could have put Takanashi over Endo as like a shocker. But yeah, probably I would expect this could have been like Higuchi beating Endo here. But I like the comedy as well, like because Aki was also the commentator on the match.
Yeah, and he just like he's like, I had went for a lunch break or something.
Yeah. Got back. So I thought that was really funny because he actually did play it off really well. Where like there was like it was like because when he did come out, it was like Takanashi looks kind of weird, and when he was just walking down with just like completely bent over so that he couldn't see, but with hair was just completely covering his face, he couldn't see it at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was like there was comedy done well in this match, and then Higuchi still got like a really like dominant win anyway. Yeah, it is so hard to really estimate what their booking plans here would have been just because of the endo injury. But maybe let's just say maybe there's a happy accident and maybe that will lead to like big things for Higuchi, but we'll see about that.
Yeah, and as I guess we sort of mentioned, I think Aki is getting a lot better in commentary.
Yes, I thought he was really good on the show.
Yeah, he still has his haters, but I like him now.
I thought he was really great in the main event. I think also like the semi-main, I thought he like really enhanced both of those matches.
Yeah, because I'll get to some of the stuff he said actually, which I think is important. In the second tournament match, Drew Nakayama defeated Yuki Ino in 11:34 with the sexy, it's listed as a sexy paradise lock, which is basically he put him in the paradise lock, but then took it looks like a vacuum tube and put it from his Ino's mouth to his ass.
Yeah.
And had no choice but to tap out or whatever. You can't really tap in a paradise lock or give up. It's funny because there was a couple of moments there when Ino like actually wrestled and it looked like there was like a brief moment of like, hey, this guy's actually got some talent. So I actually thought this was better than the match against Mao, but not by much. And just, I don't know. I know that Akiyama had that match against Dino, but like that was somewhat wrestled pretty straight, like seriously, like type match, right?
Yeah, so I actually reviewed that one on Wrestling Omakase with John Carroll, and I was really like that match really exceeded my expectations.
Yeah,
but again, Dino did his Dino stuff, but he worked his spots in a way that they were actually like that was just his way of doing an actual competitive wrestling match, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
it felt different when he did it there, like because they actually looked like they were actual wrestling moves that hurt. They were just done in a Dino way. Whereas this one, it was just like a pheromones match that also featured Drew Nakayama, but it could have been anyone else in there.
Yeah.
And that might be obviously like all of the like kind of crassness of the gimmicks aside, it's also like the kind of sameness of the pheromones matches where it really doesn't matter who they're wrestling. Like it's just always kind of the same spots every single time.
Yeah, there's only been one good pheromones match, and that was at Judgment.
Yeah,
or at least the least worst. Then after that, we had Yuki Ueno defeating Daisuke Sasaki in 12 minutes and 49 seconds with a WR. I thought this was kind of boring at first, but then it just, when the blood got him, came out, and it was like, and then the near falls at the end, was like, I ended up going 4 stars on this. And because it's just really intense by the end. It was awesome.
I didn't quite, because I got close to that. But like just the start to me was just kind of boring. And I should also say that this match is actually the reason why we're like doing this like King of DDT review as well, because I just saw the pictures of Ueno like bleeding. I was like, I think we need to put this on the show.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. Like once Ueno started bleeding, like that's really when the match entered another gear. Like before that, it was kind of similar to Sasaki versus Ino, where it was also just kind of like Sasaki doing shit. But then after that, it really went into another gear. And this is also like where we really need to give some credit to Aki, because he really like put this over huge. Always like talking about the history between Ueno and Sasaki, about how Sasaki is just always destroying Ueno when they're in matches with each other. And this is just yet another time that the Sasaki is just like completely destroying like this like potential new ace of DDT, and then Ueno actually like managing to like come back from that and actually like managing to overcome Sasaki despite him bleeding like really profusely. Like I can't really overstate how much of a blade job Ueno did here. If that even was a blade job, or if he got like busted open. Like,
I think he got busted open by the chair, because then he hit the chair when he did like the plancha, and then Sasaki hit him with the Gen to do like the pop out cushion spot.
Yeah. So this might have been like a hard way bleeding as
right.
well.
Like it's one of those things where you just like slightly graze like a side of the chair, and it'll just rip your skin up, the metal.
Yeah. So I thought this was really great after the chair shot, but I can't go for just because it was just kind of boring before that. But like everything after that, I would say is definitely like a 4-star match.
And then in the main event of the show, in a pretty big upset, Naomi Yoshimura defeated Hirashima in 19 minutes and 24 seconds with the Osaka Pride. This was wrestled. This was like the match I guess the main event of the first round was wrestled like a big main event match, but this was too, like, your slow, steady build. And then they start pulling out bigger and bigger moves. There was an awesome spot where Hiroshima went for a springboard, but then like Yoshimura popped up and like judo throwed him and everything. That was awesome. And just like, like a huge moment for Yoshimura. He's like gotten so good, I think, from where he was, not that long ago. And just like, he can hang in and do a sort of epic main event style match.
Yeah. This one actually made me kind of sad that there were like so few people in Korakuen Hall, because I think Yoshimura kind of deserved to have more people there to actually see like this big win over Hiroshima. Because I think this really is kind of a signature win for him. I think this really kind of goes a long way of like really like telling people that like Yoshimura has arrived now as a threat to be taken seriously in DDT. Because obviously like him and Ueno had that amazing Nautilus tag team. But then he kind of got left behind by Ueno a little bit.
Right.
But it was also because he got injured, like because he was out for like, I think half a year with a back injury. And then it took him like a while to kind of like get back into the groove. But I think now he's kind of really like starting to catch up with Ueno. So I'm actually really looking forward, because now those two are going to face off against each other in the semifinals. And I think that has the potential now to be like a really amazing match, because there's going to be like a lot of like emotion rolled into that as well. But yeah, I actually thought Hiroshima was going to win. I actually didn't expect Yoshimura to win. But yeah, so that made it even like bigger for me when he actually managed to like pull it out. Because I actually really like the finish as well, because it did give Yoshimura the win, but he also basically just caught him. Like it was like a really sudden finish, but in a good way, because he just caught Hiroshima when Hiroshima came charging out of the corner, and he just caught him with the Osaka Pride and pinned him.
Yep.
So I think they also like left some, like he beat him and it was a really good win, but I think they also like left some potential in there for them to have like another singles match in the future, and then maybe give Yoshimura like even more definitive win as well.
And so with that, the semi and finals will be on the same show on July 3rd at Korakuen Hall. It'll be Akiyama and Higuchi and Yoshimura versus Ueno. And Paul will do some quick predictions here. I think a lot of people are on the Higuchi train right now. That's the feeling that I'm getting from a lot of people that want to see it. I guess it makes sense on many levels, although Ueno would not shock me.
To win the finals?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, Akiyama said that to Enno that he was going to wait for him with the title. So that kind of would lead me to believe that Akiyama's beating Higuchi. But I think, like, to me, there's just so much momentum behind Higuchi right now that you kind of have to, like, capitalize on it.
So how shall I put this? Does Higuchi seem like the kind of guy that they would make the top champion of DDT compared to like a Ueno? Like if you pick both of them, like Ueno is like a DDT champion.
Yes, no, side to side it's Ueno, yeah.
And so obviously, like I could see them going back to Akiyama, no question. But there's just something about it, like Higuchi never gets it. Like, and I know so many people want it and everything like that, but it's, I don't.
Do you really think they're gonna put it on Ueno because of like based on like the max bump number
right?
That he did?
Yeah. So I think Akiyama technically is probably your favorite, right?
Yeah, he is the most likely one because he has the safest option because they know he can draw.
Yeah.
But I might actually be willing to put Higuchi second, because if he beats Akiyama, then I think he's winning the final as well.
But like, I guess, but what's his drawing?
I mean, because that might be where they might just be like, go and are like, fuck it, let's just see if he can draw as a champion. And if not, then we can like put it on like Hiroshima or something to like stabilize the promotion afterwards. But I think maybe this might be like, if they don't put on Akiyama, and obviously if Akiyama, like to me, the winner of Akiyama versus Higuchi is going to win the entire tournament.
Yep, that makes the most sense.
So, because I don't think maybe they're going to put it on Ueno, but yeah. I mean, if you had to rank like the likelihood of like the finals, like I think Higuchi Yoshimura is like the least likely final. Then I would say Ueno versus Yoshimura versus Akiyama is then second least likely, because I think just Yoshimura is probably losing against Ueno.
Yeah, he got his big win.
Yeah, and then I would say it's Higuchi Ueno, and then Akiyama Ueno is like the most likely final, I would say.
Yeah.
But I would just say that like you should. I think DDT should just try with Higuchi and see if it works, and if it doesn't, put it on like Harashima.
Yeah, I guess we don't know how long Endo's gone, and other
Yeah,
than
that's the
that,
thing as well. Like maybe if like, because that's the other thing. Like, because like, would you just put it right back on Endo when he's healthy enough? Because then you can just give Higuchi like a short title reign, see if he draws or not. Because like it's fine if your first title reign is short.
right?
So you can just give him like a short, like 1 or 2 defense title reign, and then put it back on Endo.
Yeah, because I think they obviously had the longer term plans of Endo for all of this,
Yeah.
right? So
So I
yeah.
think you don't really damage Higuchi if he just gets like a quickie title reign.
No, because he might not have ever gotten that anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is DDT King of DDT tournament. Really check it out, I think.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth
it's
it.
worth
and
it,
It's
yeah.
definitely worth a watch. Yeah.
And skip, well, you could skip the Eno match.
But I also think you definitely can watch it, because you definitely should like catch up now, because I think those like semis and finals are going to be really great.
Yeah,
You
and
have
you
a
got
while
till
to
July
catch up as
3rd to
well.
catch up.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all up on Wrestle Universe as well.
Yeah, so take it out. And the second show is English commentary that I thought was pretty good.
Yes. Which I actually didn't expect.
No, that was a nice treat. So I guess sort of with like DDT, which has its issues of its own, I guess, going down with Endo and losing to Takeshita. I think like we could throw Noah into this too. It's like, I think in All Japan, it's like the booking is going to determine how things go, not necessarily the match quality, because they've been delivering, but
Yes.
there's been some questionable choices or some choices that could fall apart really fast. And once again, I am incredibly scared of what happens in that Jake Lee Suwama match. I cannot stress that enough, because I really have liked what All Japan is doing lately, and I think I might have higher tolerance for Voodoo Murders than some, although I don't love it. It should just be at best in mid card for a couple of months, but like that could really, really mess things up. So that's my final thought of the day on that.
Yeah, I'm just curious if they're even gonna stick around, because they still haven't been added to the roster.
No,
The only
no,
Voodoo Murders guy on the roster page is Suwama.
Yeah. So, Toshizo's on there, but not as Toshizo.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot about. But also not listed as Voodoo Murderers again on that roster either.
Right. So yeah, like I always felt like there's no way this is a long-term thing. They can still screw it up, even if it still was always planned to be short-term, of course, right? So so that's it. I think we are probably going to take 2 weeks from this episode to the next episode, because there's not going to be much until then, because we'll have DDT finals.
The rest of June is kind of empty. Yeah.
Well, we got the couple All Japan shows, and then
but they're spot shows. They're not.
Yeah, but there's probably going to be 30 angles on them.
Yes, that's true.
And then we'll have the King of DDT finals, and there's a couple of Noah shows like coming up on the 24th, I think, in that. So there'll definitely be plenty to talk about if we sort of give it 2 weeks from this week. Anyway.
And we still have the half-year awards.
Oh, yes. And we still have to do the half-year awards, which we will be doing. We've just been finalizing the categories and everything like that.
Yes.
So look out for that. And so, Paul, do you have any other final thoughts?
No, not really. But I just wanted to agree as well with your point that, like, I think the wrestling is really good right now in like all 3 promotions that we talked about today. But yeah, we'll see about the booking. And I hope that like there's been some encouraging signs for like the drawing as well. It's just that like go outside Tokyo.
Yeah.
Basically, my final thought is like, don't stop booking Kurikan.
No, yeah, everyone. It's be better for everyone in the long run, actually. Yeah. So, I guess. Sorry, but like, I guess we didn't really talk about it. But are you like disturbed at all that All Japan New Japan is gonna make too many ridiculous demands of All Japan
with Tiger Mask?
Yeah, and Nagata and everything like that, and it's going to be stupid and look bad for All Japan.
I mean, there is a danger for that. We'll see. I mean, he just lost. Like Nagata was just in a like losing side of a tag match.
Yeah, but
so it doesn't really seem like a super serious on that.
It's just those title defenses are like, oh, well, if you're going to put him on the title on him, you've got to have X number of defenses before.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll get a better feeling of that soon. But that's always something in the back of my mind on this. And I don't know. So, okay. So we're over for real. So for Paul Vosh, I'm Gerard DiTrolio, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.